DA Davidson's Gil Luria joins us now to sort of talk about some of these moves, whether NVIDIA, Apple, Amazon. I'll start where you want. Actually, you know what? Let's start on Amazon if we can, because I think you have a buy rating on that. That's taking it hard today, down about 11%. AWS was very strong. Typically, we'd sit here if they had an accelerating quarter the way they did, Gil, and we'd be talking about a stock price up. So what happened?
Well, the consumer side was weak, but AWS is still the only thing that's important here. AWS is by far the market leader in the most important technology market. Its growth accelerated from 17 to 19%. And importantly, they are catching up to Azure, to Microsoft's Azure in terms of AI capabilities and the ability to sell those to their customers. So AWS is doing phenomenally well at very high margins. The entire value of Amazon can be justified by just AWS. The consumer business is still a good business, but if there's a consumer slowdown, which it's abundantly clear there is, they won't be able to escape it. They'll do better than most consumer companies, but a consumer slowdown will still be a drag on the retail business. At this point, and we'll talk about NVIDIA in a second, NVIDIA's market cap is bigger than Amazon, in spite of the fact that AWS is a bigger business that will grow faster over the next few years and is not cyclical, is recurring. So just AWS is enough to justify the current valuation, and the consumer business is still valuable, even if it will grow a little slower.
All right. Clearly, you continue to be quite positive on the name. On Amazon, again, this satellite manufacturing for Project Kuiper, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. I mean, that may have had an impact on costs. Is that going to be an ongoing expense?
I think it's one of the items they listed. Think about it as part of the Prime bundle. They want to wrap a lot of different capabilities for their consumer that are not just products in order to keep people compelled within Prime. And internet access is a good one. Strategically, it's an important thing for them. I think it's Kuiper like the Kuiper belt. And they'll continue to invest in it, but it's a small drag. The bigger items were that international profitability was down as they expand there. Domestic profitability was actually fine. There are some puts and takes around stock-based comp, et cetera. With Amazon, what we've learned over the years is they don't really care what we have to say about short-term margins in retail. When they invest over time. They can deliver 6+% margins, and that's what they will do. But in any given quarter, especially if a weakened consumer, we may not quite get that.
Yeah, and the time we have left, real quickly, I mean, all the hyperscalers continue to commit enormous amounts of CapEx, nobody backing off when we heard from them this week on conference calls. That leads me to NVIDIA. We don't have a lot of time here, Gil, but give me your take.
Short term, NVIDIA is going to have record results this quarter, probably next one. But we've had plenty of signs about why that will not last until next year and the year after that. When companies say they're over-investing, that means they're going to invest less next year. When Apple says that Apple, by the way, most generative AI is going to be done on an Apple device next year, none of it will involve NVIDIA GPUs. Amazon is now selling services based on its chips. Google is selling services based on its chips, including to Apple. Microsoft just guided to a decline in margins because of how much they're overinvesting. They would have to lay off 10,000 people a year for every year they overinvest. They can't keep this up. At some point, they're going to say we have enough, and they'll invest a lot less. The way this is going to play out is when Microsoft says we have great demand signals, what they're saying is OpenAI is telling us they need 10 times more compute for GPT-5 and 10 times more compute for GPT-6. If GPT-5 comes out and it's just incrementally better, Microsoft will say, okay, that's enough. We're going to buy less chips next year.